I want to talk about what the United Nations has said about climate protesters in Britain. Now, we've had these climate extremists. This is the We Must Stop Oil protests, Just Stop Oil protests in London, and some people have been handed pretty heavy sentences there. But what the UN says, it says that these heavy sentences against climate protesters could actually stifle protests. Well, thank you very much, Liz. That's exactly what we're hoping.
Honestly, these people are a menace to society, and once again, law enforcement has had to find out the hard way.
Not your protesters for vaccine,
They were absolute heroes, Justin, and I remember your disgraceful comments at the time because they were fighting for freedoms. These guys are fighting for absolutely nothing but more tyranny in the name of a blown-up green dream. And we live in a country with 1.3% of global emissions. That's all we're responsible for. So everyone who wants to harp on about that can shut up. But one of these guys, I'm aware of that, one of these guys has got 3 years, one of these guys have got 2 years. And once again, law enforcement has had to find out the hard way. If you go softly on people like this, you get more of the same. So they've finally woken up to themselves. We've finally seen some hardcore measures being taken place.
It all depends on who you shoot at,
everyday people get to stop thousands from going about their lawful business because they've got a hobby horse to stand on. That is utterly ridiculous. You can't run a country like that. That's why they're menaces.
Justin, you're forgetting Liz and I are against the rubber bullets. We don't want rubber bullets on these guys. But heavy sentences that deter other protesters disrupt, that's good.
Yeah, so let me get this straight. So you're for, because I think this is really important that we sort this out for the wrangle. You're for some kinds of protesters, but not other kinds of protesters. So who is it that decides which protesters are allowed to do it?
The vaccine protesters.
Do we have a protest committee who comes up with it?
The vaccine protesters were not stopping anyone from going about their lawful business. In fact, it was impossible to do so because the state was busy doing that. No one was allowed to go about their lawful business. These guys weren't hurting anyone. They weren't doing anything. These Stop Oil protesters, that's all they do. They're disruptors. That is all they do. They interrupt weddings. They interrupt Wimbledon. They interrupt Broadway.
There were attacks on police at some of those protests.
Thousands of people in traffic,
some of those COVID protests
they think
had
they've got a
attacks
cause
on
worth
police.
Don't
forget that. Okay? Do not forget that there were attacks on police during some of those.
Oh, those police that we had to pay for to fire on free people in their own country, maim them, kick them while down on the ground. Seriously, Justin.
Liz, we're out of time. But just to summarise, Justin, I did mention this at the top of the program. Everybody's got a right to protest, but there are 3 reasons the police should intervene and stop it. One is if they incite violence. The other is if they're promoting racism. And thirdly, if they're stopping other citizens going about their lawful business. And that's where these people always cross the line. That's one hell of a wrangle tonight.
All protests will stop people from doing something. If you march down Collins Street, go outside now from the studio where you are and you go down Collins Street.
If they protest in the street,
that's stopping people from going about their business.
You're not stopping doing their job.
Yes, you are. You are blocking traffic. You walk down the street, you're going to block traffic. I don't want you
Justin wants to ban all protests. We've got to move on. We do have to move on. It's been a hell of a wrangle. I thank you both for joining us, Liz Storer and Justin Smith.